300 employees across 4 auctions in 2 different states. That's what I'm managing right now, and let me tell you something. I'm not managing them at all. I'm leading them, and there's a massive difference. I'm Andy Dunning, and today I'm going to show you exactly how I went from micromanaging 10 people to leading 300 plus without losing my mind or any of my business. Look, when I first got back into the auction business in 2018, I thought leadership was about control. I thought I had to have my hands on everything. I was wrong, and not only that, I was dead wrong. And it almost killed my business before I got started. What I'm about to share with you is the complete system I use to manage 300 plus people across multiple locations while still having the time to work on growing my business. Let me tell you about my first wake-up call. When I sold my original auction company, I wasn't a real leader. My brother handled the operations, and my father, well, he managed all our finances. I was the guy out on the front lines doing sales, the face of the auction. I thought that was leadership because I was the face, not the brains. When I came back in 2018, everything changed. Now I'm the puppet master. I had to be the one in charge of everything. And let me tell you, trying to manage 300 plus people the old way, that was a recipe for disaster. Here's what I learned the hard way. You can't scale a business by scaling yourself. You scale a business by scaling your people. And you can't scale people by managing them. You scale people by leading them. And then at the end of the day, nobody wants to work for a boss. Everybody wants to work for a mentor. That's the first thing you've got to understand if you want to manage hundreds of people without going insane. All right, let me break it down exactly how I structured 300 employees so that I'm not bottlenecking my entire company. All right, now we're going to go into the pyramid structure. Level 1, that's my direct reports. At that top of level 1, I have 8 to 10 people who directly report to me. That's it. It's not 50, it's not 100, it's just 8 to 10. These are my management team, my true leaders, my generals that are out in the field. Every one of these people is responsible for a specific area, whether it's operations at each location, sales, finance, HR, marketing. They have their own domain completely. Here's the key. I don't manage these people, I develop them. So every Friday morning at 8 a.m. we have a meeting, and it's my 10 direct reports alone. So for 10 weeks straight, we go through. Each one of them has to pick a subject on leadership, and then they come and present on that subject for leadership every single week. We have a new one, and then at the end of the 10 weeks, we vote on who did the best job. So we're applying those things that they've learned though through these meetings, and it gives them a level of accountability and a different leadership style that they can follow. Level 2, middle management. Each of my direct reports has 4 to 6 people that are reporting to them. These are what we call our middle managers, shift supervisor, department's head, or location managers. Here's what's crucial. My direct reports are responsible for developing these people, not me. I'm not trying to manage 50 people directly. That would be absolutely insane. But here's what I do. I make sure my direct reports understand their job. It isn't to get results, it's just to build people who get the results for them. Level 3, the frontline supervisor. Then you have your frontline supervisor. These are the people that are managing the day-to-day operations, the team on the auction floor, the administrative staff. The key here is every supervisor knows they're not just managing tasks, they're developing that next level of leadership. Level 4, your frontline employees. And then you have your front line. These employees are your 300 strong, but here's the thing, even these people understand they're part of something bigger than just a job. They understand the vision, they understand the role in achieving it, and they understand there's a path for growth here. Now, let me show you the actual system I use to develop leaders at each level. We have a book program. Every person in the leadership position, from my direct report team down to the frontline supervisors, is in a book program. They read a business and leadership book, they write a one-page report about it, and then we discuss how can we use some of these applications within our company. Guys, one of the important things that you have to do, I truly believe in, is getting them outside of the office, maybe taking them to a mastermind event or holding an off-site workshop for your employees, not only does it do two things, it gets them to work better together where they're more cohesive, but it gets them out of the office to be able to have further discussions where they're in a comfortable environment. The problem-solving framework. Here's how you handle problems with 300 plus employees. I don't solve the problems, I teach people to solve the problems for the company. When someone comes to me with an issue, I tell them, I don't care what the problem is. This is what I want. I got this from Dan Martell. It's called the 1-3-1. You may know what I'm talking about, but it's real easy, and it's real easy to implement within your company. 1, what's the problem? 2, give me 3 solutions to that problem. And 3, give me 1 solution that works the best for that problem. Now, when I hear it, I'll tell you what I think, and I'll give you my response on which one I think is the best. Yours may be better than mine. Mine may be better than yours. I'm not worried about which decision we go with. I want to make you empowered to be able to make that decision yourself. This does two things. It builds confidence in decision making amongst your employees, and then it keeps those problems always from flowing up to your desk. The accountability system. With 300 plus employees, you need a system for accountability that does not require you to babysit every single person in the company. Every location has its daily huddles. Every department has its weekly metric reviews. Every manager has a one-on-one with their direct reports. But here's the key. I'm not running all these meetings. My people are running them. I've taught them the system and they execute it. I get all my summary reports, I get the reviews and the metrics, but I'm not in the weeds managing every detail. The culture system. Here's what people get wrong about managing hundreds of employees. They think about it as system and processes. That's only half of it. The other half is completely having a great culture. Core values that actually mean something. We have core values, but they're not just words on a wall. They're decision-making tools. Discipline, consistency, hard work, never quitting. They aren't just motivational phrases. They are the standards which we hire, fire, promote, and make every business decision from. If somebody sits here and says, oh man, the vision cascade, every person in this organization knows we're not just running auctions, we're building the biggest auction network in the US. We're changing the entire auction industry. That vision cascades down through every level. My direct reports communicate it to their teams, who communicate it to their teams, and so on and so on. Sell the vision every chance you get. When people understand they're a part of something bigger than their paycheck, they'll perform for you on a whole new level. Recognition and development. With 300 plus employees, you personally can't recognize everyone, but you can create a system where recognition happens at every level. We have a monthly recognition program at each location. We have a quarterly company-wide awards, which we have, and then we have an annual leadership development program. We give out awards to employees of the month, and then we give out an award for the employee of the year. And then on top of that, I take my management team and I do something completely different with the direct report team, so I'm able to take them away and give them something special at the same time. But most importantly, we have a culture where developing people is part of everyone's job description. If you're a leader in this organization, part of your success is measured from how well you develop the people under you. Communication with 300 plus employees across multiple states is a massive challenge. Here's how I handle it. The weekly leadership call. Every Monday, I have a call with all of my direct reports. We review previous week's numbers, discuss challenges, align our priorities for the coming week. This isn't a status update meeting. This is a strategic alignment meeting. We are making sure that everybody's rowing in the same direction at all times. The monthly all hands. Once a month, we have an all hands meeting at each location. I personally attend as many of these as I can, but when I can't, my direct reports run this meeting using the same format and messaging that I would. We share company performance, recognize achievements, communicate new initiatives, and most importantly, we reinforce the vision and share our values every chance we get. The Quarterly Leadership Summit. Every quarter, we bring together all of the managers from all locations for a leadership summit. This is where we do the deep training, strategic planning, and culture reinforcement. This is where I personally get to impact 50 plus of our leaders, who then go back and they impact the 300 strong of our employees. It's the force multiplication, the open door policy that actually works. I have an open door policy, but it's structured. Anyone can reach me, but they have to go through their chain of command first unless it's an emergency or it's an ethics issue. This keeps me from being overwhelmed while ensuring that important issues still reach my desk. Matrix and systems. You can't manage what you don't measure, especially with 300 plus people. Here's the metrics system. Every location has a weekly scorecards, financial metrics, operational metrics, people metrics. My direct reports review these with their teams, identify the issues, implement solutions before they bring the problems to me. Monthly business reviews. Once a month, each location prevents a full business review. What went well, what didn't, what they're doing about it, and what support they need from me in order to implement these new systems. It isn't about a blame game, it's about a continuous improvement and making sure we're learning from both successes and our failures. Annual planning processes. Every year we do a comprehensive planning with input from every level of every organization. We set our goals, we allocate resources, and we create an accountability system for every department. But here's the key. The plans aren't created in isolation at the top. They're created with input from every employee who has to execute them. Hiring and firing system. With 300 plus employees, hiring and firing is happening constantly, and here's how we handle it. Hiring for culture fit first. We hire for attitude and train for skill. I would rather have someone who is with the right mindset who needs training than someone who has great skills and a bad attitude and doesn't fit our culture. Every hire goes through multiple interviews, including potential peers and direct reports. We don't just evaluate skills, we're evaluating whether they're a culture fit for our company. The 90-day integration process. Every new hire goes through a 90-day integration process. That way they get to meet multiple leaders, they get to understand our vision and our values, and they're kind of paired with a mentor at that same time. We're not just throwing people into jobs, we're integrating them into our culture. Firing fast when necessary. Here's the hard truth. With 300 plus employees, you're going to have people that don't work out. The key is identifying them quickly and acting decisively. We have clear performance standards, we have clear behavioral expectations, and we have clear consequences. If somebody isn't meeting these standards after coaching and support, they need to go. One bad apple can poison an entire team, and with 300 plus people, you can't afford for that to happen. Look, managing 300 plus employees isn't about being the smartest person in the room, and it's not about having all the answers. It's about building a system that develops people, creating a culture that attracts the right people, and having the discipline to execute it consistently. The key is this: stop trying to control everything and start trying to develop everyone involved. If you're struggling to scale your team, if you feel like you're the bottleneck in your own company, then start with these systems. Pick one area and implement it and stay with it consistently. Remember, you don't just build a company, you build the people inside it. And when you build great people, they build you a great company. If this helped you, hit the subscribe button. I'm going to keep sharing everything I've learned about building and leading in my teams over the 35 years that I've been in the trenches. Stay consistent, stay successful, and let's build some leaders together.